Honestly, over the last few years, I don't know why, but I have been not that interested in gear. I just don't feel like I really need to add anything to my repertoire or buy new things the whole time to like affect my video making process. I have also been traveling a lot the last few years, and with traveling, I have learned what I actually use and don't use in my camera bag, because I don't want to lug around a bunch of pointless stuff that I'm never really using. So the things that I want to talk about today are things that I have tried and tested, and they are things that I rarely use. I'm using these all the time, and if I'm not, I chuck that thing out of my bag and I'm not going to carry it around anymore. So we got 10 essential things that I feel like I really need to make the videos that I want to create. Some of them are cool, some of them are silly, but let's get into them. This video is not sponsored by any of these companies, but there are going to be the affiliate links in the description if you guys want to find out anything more about any of the products that we talk about in today's video. Firstly, and I'm not including this in the actual list of 10 items, but just a couple of boring things. I have a bunch of these SanDisk SSDs. I try to go for the 4 terabyte ones. They're pretty expensive, but essential. I've never had any problems with these whatsoever. I store all of my footage on this, and I also edit off of them. When I'm done with the footage that I'm using on them, I'll dump them off of here onto a slower drive that I kind of just store them as like catalog footage. But when I'm actually editing and going on trips and stuff, I'm editing off of these the whole time. The memory cards that I'm using are the Sony Tough normal SD cards. Super nice and fast, also a bit expensive, but in my experience, I only need 1 or 2, or at least 1 for each of my cameras. I get like the 64 or 128 gig ones, and I don't fill them up in a day, and I dump the footage at the end of the day. So that is not actually in the list of accessories, but they are things that I do carry around and that I need. The first thing on the list is this little gear bag from Alpaca. This thing is super sick just to chuck all of your random things in, like the SD cards. You can put your batteries in here, any little odds and ends that I don't want like flying around in my actual camera bag, smashing into each other and breaking. I can neatly store away in here. It's got lots of little compartments, little things for batteries. I can put in my SSDs. I can put in whatever I want in here. I either have this in a backpack, or I'm literally putting this entire thing into my actual camera bag. Next on the list is this cage and top handle. This one in particular is from Small Rig. I am pretty sure they do the best ones out of everyone that does them, at least in my opinion and experience. I was reluctant to use one of these, and I actually owned one of these for quite a while before I actually put it on my camera. But let me tell you, once this thing got put on my camera, it has not come off since. It is such a useful little thing. I have been loving handheld kind of shaky footage lately, and having this top handle as an extra point of just contact with your camera and being able to hold it nicely like this makes such a difference. I don't take this off my camera ever. It also has all these mounting points if you guys want to put any accessories on, microphones and stuff. This one in particular is really nice and nifty. It has a little Allen key slotted in there to adjust anything here. And the other thing I really like is this little key at the bottom, swoop, which you can take out, and you got a little screw to tighten any of your tripods, or even for itself. It is more big and bulky. It makes your camera a little heavier, makes it a little bit bigger, but I think it's worth it, and I'm still able to put my camera in my camera bag with this on. I kind of just slot it in sideways like that, and it actually has enough space. So that's not too much of an issue for me. Another thing is it actually has an Arca Swiss tripod mount kind of plate built in here, so you don't even need to put a tripod mount on here if you have a matching tripod setup. This thing, absolutely essential, very important for me, and yeah, really cool little piece of kit. Next on the list, kind of boring, but batteries. These ones are from Nightcore. The reason I like these ones are you can push this little button and see how full the battery is. I get so annoyed by having a whole set of batteries in my camera bag, and they're kind of all over the place, and you don't know which one is full and which one's empty. You take one out of your bag, you gotta put it in a dedicated pocket to be like, these are the empty ones, these are the full ones. These ones I can just whip out, you push that button and it shows like red, blue or green. depending on how full it is. Like that one's green, that means it's full and ready to go. This one is blue, that means it's halfway gone. The other thing I like about this, no dedicated charger. You literally have a USB-C port on this battery that you can just plug straight in and it charges it up. You don't need a stupid charger that you're carrying around in your bag taking up useless space. You just straight plug these in. I have 5 batteries in total, and that's only because I have 2 cameras, so I'm splitting them between those 2 cameras, but for the most part I would say you probably need like 2 per camera max. I never really burn through more than that. Next up on the list is this little mini tripod from PGY Tech. I think it's called the Mantis Pod. This thing I have taken everywhere with me all over the world because it is so useful. I find myself filming by myself a lot, and having a small tripod that you can set up shots to get of yourself is super important, and I couldn't do it without this. I like those little Gorilla Pod ones, the bendy ones. They're also cool, but I find they very quickly over time get loose and don't like hold the weight anymore. And they're also kind of sketchy. You're putting them down and they bend over and fall. Not nearly as nice as this one, I think, personally. You can fold it out like this, super nice and stable. You have this little ball head on top that you can just click this and move however you want. Super nice and easy, really well thought out. You can lock it off, take this out, mount it on your tripod. This happens to be the same mount as the small rig cage, so I can literally just slot that in here and put it down where I want it to be. A couple other nice things about this, it's got this little phone holder in here, so you can literally just take this out, put it on, and you can put your phone in here, which is really helpful. It's got a bunch of other little goodies, super nice for like getting Casey Neistat selfie style shots like this, filming yourself. Hey guys. But yeah, this thing, very essential, comes with me everywhere and also goes straight in my camera bag. While we're on the topic of tripods, the small one, amazing, but sometimes I want a full-size one, and the one I have gone with is this small rig tripod. I don't know what the name is, but if you want to find out more, in the description it will be there. It's called carbon fiber tripod with center column, AP20. I guess it's the AP20. This thing, sick. The other one's awesome, but it doesn't always allow me to get the style of shots that I want, because I often want to lift my camera up off the ground, especially if I'm filming like a solo B-roll section to make some travel video or something like that. Having the tripod only on the ground, super limiting. This one is really light. It's all carbon fiber, so traveling with it is like a breeze. It has a ball joint. It doesn't have a handle coming out, which I find a little bit annoying. You could probably attach one, I'm not sure, but it doesn't have one. It extends really high. It's got like 4 different telescoping posts. It's got a nice ball head on top. It's the same mount as the mini tripod and the small rig cage, so that I can just slot them on here, and I can also swap them between the two without any problems. This thing has a cool little, couple of cool tricks up its sleeve. You can unscrew this and it actually becomes like a monopod slash, I don't know, selfie stick, whatever else, whatever you might want this for. And then you can take this off, screw the ball head on top here, and now you have a ball head monopod, which is actually pretty useful. So yeah, this thing's super cool. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a tripod. I mean, they all kind of do the same thing, but this one's nice and light and I like it. It also can extend. You can also take this out, flip it around, you can get undershots. The legs go super wide, so you can get all the way flat, so that you can be like as low as you want, but then it will also be super high. Good tripod, I like it, and I will keep carrying it around. Okay, we got next up audio. So important, and often people are like, I want to get new lenses. I don't want to get a new microphone. Microphones, boring, but very important. I keep stressing that, but super important for your videos. You need the sound to be really good. I have 2 options here. The first one is my Rode VideoMic Pro, which I'm actually using right now. This is how it sounds. I think it's a fantastic microphone. It turns on when you turn the camera on, so you don't have a dedicated switch, because I can't even tell you guys how many times I have turned the camera on, forgot to turn the microphone on, recorded, and got zero sound. So having that one go on and off by itself, very, very useful. It's really, really high quality in my opinion. It's versatile because I can throw it on my camera and shoot outside when I'm capturing environmental sounds, but I can also put it on and shoot something like this in the studio. I think there's a smaller one than this, the Rode Video Micro. It's also good, and I actually used it for a few years on my camera. This one is slightly higher quality. It's a lot more expensive, and I think if you wanted a cheap one, the area your audio is going to improve the most is actually by doing some simple audio editing. Like in Premiere Pro, you can use a parametric EQ, put it on vocal enhancer, tweak those little things. That's going to make a much bigger difference than getting the more expensive microphone. So if you're not doing that, maybe do that first. If you still think it's not high quality enough for you, then look into upgrading. But as an example, this is my normal audio with the editing on, and this is the audio before I've done any editing and tweaking it in Premiere. So you can hear this is not nearly as good as this because of the editing, and regardless of your microphone, if you're not doing that editing, that's what's going to make the difference. The other audio setup that I have is these little lav mics from Rode. These are the Rode Go 2s. Super nice, also pretty self-explanatory. You get your main transmitter and 2 receivers, and you get these little lav mics, you get these little wind muffs for when it's windy outside. Super nice, comes in a little case like this, so I can also just throw this into my bag. This gets nice quality audio, and I'm gonna use this anytime I don't wanna be close to my camera, but I do want to capture some voice, because if I'm further away, this is wireless, I can be wherever I want. If I'm filming something like a tutorial on my own and I kind of want to set the camera up on the tripod and then go run around here and do a bunch of stuff and not worry about having to be super close to the camera and capturing that audio, that's when I'm going to use this, because that's another thing. Getting your microphone close to your subject is by far more important than the quality of microphone you have. To a degree, obviously I have a really bad one, it's still going to sound bad even if it's right here. But yeah, so there's my wireless setup. Those 2 microphones is pretty much all I use, and I'm really happy with the results of them. I've had much more expensive ones. I have a Rode NTG2 and a Zoom H6 recorder with the XLR cables and all that. I still have it, I just don't really feel the need to set it up. I don't find it that much noticeably better than this Rode Video Mic Pro or whatever, so I'm on that one. Next up, it's actually on the camera right now, and it's the Nissi Swift Variable ND with a mist filter on it, or diffusion, whatever filter, I don't know, all the brands call it different names, but it's a super nice variable ND with hard stops. I leave it on my camera pretty much 24/7. The mist filter, I also leave on my camera a lot, but recently I've been shooting a lot more stuff without it, because you can add in the halation that you will get with a mist filter in post quite easily, and you can control it, so you can either say I do want it or don't want it, whereas if you shoot it with the mist filter on your lens, it's baked in there, it's ingrained, you're not getting rid of it. But to avoid that whole process of actually adding on that whole thing in editing and to skip that workflow, I'm lazy and I actually leave the filter on pretty much all the time because I think it looks awesome, it looks amazing. So I kind of want all my footage on it anyway. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about with some demo footage. You can see with this light right here how this is kind of like blooming out. It's got let me show you. So if I take this off and do it with this hand so you can see the light, you see how sharp that light is now. This is the mist filter that I've just took off. It's a clear filter, it doesn't do anything. Look how clear that light is, even coming through the window here. It's all really tack sharp and like digital and harsh. With this on, boom, look at that light. It's like blooming out, it's beautiful. This light coming in through the windows here is super soft and light, nice. That highlight roll off just becomes so much better. So I don't know why you wouldn't want this on your camera the whole time. I leave it on the camera the whole time. Next up, we're cooking through these things. This is my favorite little tool. It's a little bit boring. It's not so exciting and cool like a mist filter, but This is just a little multi-tool. It's also from Small Rig, and this thing lives in my camera bag. It has all the tools that you're gonna need on it. You got this super nice tripod one. It locks, so you can tighten your tripod super hard. It's not gonna be swiveling around and moving. It's also got a bunch of Allen keys, anything that you want. It tucks away super nicely. You just got these little levers and you can go like, bam. Got these Allen keys out, super nice. This side has a screwdriver, a star, and another like Allen key style one. Very useful. I use this all the time whenever I'm changing tripods, changing anything on my camera. If I need to rig something up, this is so useful to have, and it's small, comes in a nice little case. This just lives in my bag 24/7. Last thing on the list, a lens pen for keeping your lenses shiny and clean. Super important. So this one has a little fluffy bit on here just for getting rid of dust, and you can also like get it all in the back of your camera. You're filming somewhere super dusty, and then it also has this actual nice little swabby thing, I don't know what it's called, but to clean any of like the smudges or anything off of your lens. Super important, keeping your lenses really nice and clean. This also slots in one of my camera bag pockets, and I always have it. Check my lens, give it a little dust, give it a little clean, and make sure that there's nothing going on in my lens. So yeah, lens pen, not very exciting, but essential. That's it for the 10 essential accessories I will be keeping in my bag for 2024. I've already had them for years, and I'm gonna keep on keeping them on. If you guys want to find out anything more about them, they're all going to be linked in the description. They're affiliate links, so it helps me out if you want to check them out anyway. Other than that, have fun. Bye.